Welcome to McGolden Farm Urban Homestead. I'm your host Troy. So you want to raise some chickens to get some chicken eggs. Well, let me teach you the basics in this tutorial. All right, so I was able to have a quick chat with my chickens and they agreed that they will join us for this video. So you want to start raising chickens to get some chicken eggs. There are great benefits to raising your own chickens. You just need to know a few things before you get started. First off, your chickens are descendants from jungle fowl, so you need to take that into consideration when you start building an environment for them to be in. Jungle fowl roam around on the jungle floor. They scratch around and everything looking for bugs, and then at night they roost up in the trees. So for the chickens, you want to give them a good chicken coop that's protected. You also want to give them a chicken run as well, and this is going to help protect them from predators such as coyotes, possums, raccoons, birds of prey, all types of stuff. Everything likes to eat chicken, so just be aware of that, and that they are on the bottom of the food chain basically. So let's take a look inside the chicken coop and see what we got in there. And here's the inside of the chicken coop. As you can see, there's a lot of poop over there with all of the poop that comes from the chickens. And you can see Allie right there. Hey Allie, how's it going? So I do what's called a deep litter method. Basically, I put in straw, wood chips. I also get some coffee hulls from a friend of mine that works in the coffee industry. I put that down in about an inch layer. And then I will allow the chickens to do what they do, which is poop, and they'll scratch around. I'll monitor how much poop is starting to accumulate, and once it starts doing like over here in the corner, right there, I will just start putting a little bit more straw over top of it, and they'll continue to poop. And in about 6 months, I put it through the compost pile to break it down even more, get it really rich in nutrients for the garden, and then it gets put on the garden. So kind of a closed loop system there. So one key thing you need for your chicken coop is you're going to need roosting bars. That's what these are, and that's where your chickens will sleep at night. So right here you can see that the chickens will sleep right here and they poop right there, unfortunately. So none of them sleep right there, but you're going to want to make sure that you have a good decent amount of length for your roosting bars to make sure all your chickens can sleep together, because during the winter time, that's how they'll keep warm. They'll snuggle up next to each other and they'll keep in body heat that way. So just make sure that you give them enough roosting bars, and make sure that they're higher than your nesting boxes. So here's the nesting boxes. I have 2 for the 7 birds that I have. And you'll see a whole bunch of different information online that will say you need 1 box per 3 or 4 birds. And I have noticed that the chickens seem to like to nest in one particular box at a time. So they'll switch from the left side and then they'll do the right, but it doesn't seem like they do both at the same time. And every now and then they decide they don't even like the nesting boxes and they just do it outside of the boxes. When you put your nesting boxes in the coop, what you're going to want to do is make sure that you have it below your roosting bars. The chickens, just like their distant relatives, the jungle fowl, like to roost up high. So if you have your nesting box sitting up high, then they're going to poop and do a whole bunch of nasty stuff in the boxes that you don't want them to do. At night, chickens will poop a lot more than what they do in the daytime. So that's why you don't want your nesting boxes up there as high. Here is the outside of the chicken run. We got a decent span for the chicken run for them. It is a 10-foot by 20-foot chicken run that is attached to the chicken coop. Simple design. We got 1 door leading in. There's their feeder. We got some stuff for them to jump up on And then this is their enclosure for their dust bath area with the kiddie pool. And over here is their automatic waterer. Right here is a box I built that I put fodder seed into. Fodder is like barley and ryegrass and stuff like that. And it'll grow up, and then that gives them good greens when I do not want to let them out into the yard. So that'll grow up, they'll eat that down and everything. And I'll show you that in a later video. Next step is you're gonna want a feeder. You are going to find lots of stuff on the internet, on YouTube, about different styles of feeders. This, for me, in my opinion, is the best for what we have at our house. I went to Home Depot, I got one of these. I can't remember what type this is. It's the only one that had the yellow lid. They seem to be a lot stronger in the plastic area, but this holds more than a 50-pound bag of feed. What I did was I went and got 45-degree 2-inch PVC pipe couplings, so that you want to glue them in, get your holes drilled, glue them in, and then you want to kind of tip the outside part down a little bit so that water doesn't drip in. The chicken, and I put them at different levels as well, so the chickens can kind of go down with their feed. In here, got chicken feed in there, and they just poke their heads through. The problem is chickens aren't that smart, and unfortunately, you need to train them to this. You can't just put this in, put the feed in, and leave. You need to train your chickens to it. Basically, as soon as you get 1 or 2 chickens trained to it, they're gonna teach the whole flock, depending on how many birds you have. But yeah, so you just wanna try to get 1 or 2 chickens in. And what I used to do was, down here, I would kind of just fling the feed out, and that allowed the chicken to kind of just peck down at the ground. And then they kind of realized, oh, hey, food's coming out of there, and stuck their head in. So it's a great, easy girls. It's a great food storage container, long food storage as well. Like I said, I usually get like 2 50-pound bags at a time. I dump one in here and then put another one in the metal trash can. So let's go see what else we got. All right, here we have their automatic waterer for the chickens. I let this go a little bit so I could kind of show you what you don't want to let happen. So in here, obviously it's in the sun, so you got algae that's gonna grow and everything. So always make sure, even if you have stuff on automatic waterer and automatic feeder, that doesn't mean you don't get to just not check it. You always want to make sure. In the past, I've had leaks from this. I've had a chicken knock it over to where it flooded the whole area. Luckily, I'm always checking this, so I caught it early, but it doesn't save the water that still went on for the 8 hours I was at work for. So for this, it's really simple. I just simply dump it out. So just like that, I just give it a quick wipe down and everything. And then this has got a little ball valve, or not a ball valve, a float valve inside of it, just like you do in your toilet. So you just hook it up to a hose. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see that back there, but you just hook it up to a hose and have your hose slightly turned on and everything. I have a dedicated spigot that goes to this. And then every now and then just come out with a sponge or something and actually give it a good wipe down as well. Okay, so here you can see that I put a kiddie pool in for them, and then a little structure as well. The kiddie pool is not really for being a pool. It is so I can dump my wood ashes into the kiddie pool. I put some soil in there, and I also throw some sand in there, and that is their dusting area. So with chickens, they don't take showers or anything, as you could probably guess, but what they do is they do something called dusting. In the wild, they'll just dig a little hole into the ground, not that deep, maybe a ½ inch or so, and then they'll start kicking the dust up into underneath their wings, and they'll fluff out their feathers. And this is to help prevent the mites or anything other kind of gross little critters that get on them. And it's kind of like a dry shampoo for them. So you definitely want to at least have some ground that they're going to dust in. Just because I have this kiddie pool in does not mean that that's the only place that they dust. As long as you keep your birds nice and protected, give them good healthy feed, make sure their water is cleaned, and just give them a nice healthy area to live in, you shouldn't have too many problems with raising chickens. Unfortunately, like I was saying, chickens are on the lower end of the totem pole, so things do happen with them, unfortunately, and it's just a part of nature. So if you have any questions, feel free to post a comment. I will get back to you. Don't forget to like that video, guys, and I'll keep posting more informational stuff for everyone. Have a great day. And if you want to know, this may be our favorite chicken right here. This is Dorcas. She's a naked neck chicken, also known as a turkin. She's got a great personality. We named her Dorcas after the Sabrina the Teenage Witch Chronicles, or whatever's on Netflix, the Sabrina show. And then there's her sister Agatha.